Hi guys, this is Vishal here from Trapcode. So in this video, we will understand how to handle the error messages in external APIs. So it happens a lot of time that you are hitting some external API or HTTP and it is giving you some error, right? And you want to display the exact error message to your end user. So we will see how that can be done in Trapcode. So we'll hit an API, we'll try to catch the error and we'll try to display the exact same error to the end user. So I have a collection called product. It has a couple of parameters, name, manufacturing date, protein. And what we are doing, we have a form. We are saving the data in the collection and we are hitting an Airtable API to save the same data in Airtable, right? So we have a Airtable base. Here we have a collection called product, which has name, manufacturing date, and protein percentage. Now we are using this Airtable API to create new records. So basically sending the data as a post call. This is the URL of product, authorization, bearer token, and the data, right? So for this, we have configured an external API. So this is the external API which we are using, which is using the URL of the product, some name, post call, get data from product, bearer token, and the JSON, right? So this is binded to an event. So if I go to the event, what event is doing? Event is saving the data in the collection and then sending it to external API, right? So this is working fine. The data is going, it is getting created. So let's see how this is happening. So I'll create a product. Let's say PZ1. Okay. Some date, some percentage, let's say 18%. Okay. And I submit. So first it will save in the collection, which is saved, and it will make a call to Airtable created on Airtable, right? And if you go to Airtable, this should be created. PZ1 date and percent 18, right? So this API is working fine. Now let's say there is some bug, there is some error in the API, and we want to see what that error is. So let's go and do some changes in the API. Okay. So by default, if you want to see the logs, so we have a setting called system logs where you can actually see all the logs in the real time, right? So here, this is the API which we have just hit. So you can actually filter it on the basis of number of lines which you want to read. Okay, so this is the API which we have to Airtable and it has created a record. So this is a request which we have sent. PZ1 manufacturing date and all. So this is the parameter which we have sent to Airtable, and this is the response which we have got, which is 200, and then the response which is data, record, ID, created time, and the fields which is name, manufacturing date, and all those things. So this is the exact same request and response. Like this is the request and this is the response. Let's say there is an error in an API and we want to track that error and we want to also show the error to the user. So let's go and do some changes in the API. So I go to external API. Let's mess up something. Let's instead of product, I call it, let's say PRODCT. Let's say I just misspelled the name. 1, 2, 3, whatever. Right. Now I have saved it. I am now trying to call a fake API or a API which does not exist. Right. So let's reload the page and try to create a product. The PZ2, some date, some percentage, and submit. So now the product got saved in Trapcode, but when we sent it to Airtable, we are seeing error from source. So this is the default error message which we display whenever there's an error from external API, right? But maybe Airtable is giving you some specific error which we will see, and then we'll figure out how to display that particular error message here, right? So I'll go to my logs and I'll just refresh so that I see the latest logs. Scroll down. So this is the error which we are seeing, error from source. So let's go above. So these are the parameters which we have sent. This is the data which we have sent to Airtable, PZ2, manufacturing date, protein percentage, authorization, and all those things. But we are getting this error. You see, this is the error which we are getting in the error response. Error type invalid permissions or model not found. It is saying the table which you are trying to find does not exist, or maybe if it is accessed, then you don't have permission to access it, right? In the message, invalid permission or request model not found, check with blah blah blah. Right. Now let's say I want to display exact same message to the end user so that they know what is the mistake they are doing. Right. So what we'll do, we will have to copy this error message. So I'm just copying it so that we can display it in a specific format that how it is it. I just go and open a JSON formatter. I paste it here. Okay. So this is the actual error JSON which we are getting. So there's an error block inside its type and message. Now I want to show this particular message to the user. So what I'll do, I'll say error.type and error.message. So these are the two parameters. So I'll go to my external API, edit it, and go to this block, which is error handling. So here I can give all the error messages and the path and then do a comparison where if this particular thing comes, then display this message. So it is asking me JSON field of JSON path of error field, that in which field the error is coming. So in our case, error is coming here, error type. So this is some type, this is the field. So we are saying if error.type is equal to this, then display error.message, right? So we want to display this message. I'll go to my external API, I'll say error.type is equal to this. So you can compare it to a specific code, you can compare it to a message, you can compare it to a string, whatever you want to compare, right? So in most of the APIs, you get some message or some fixed word which you can compare. So here we are saying if error dot type, if in the error JSON, in the type field, if the value is this, display the message. Where is the message coming? It's coming in error dot message. So what I'm saying, if error dot type is equal to this, then whatever is coming in error dot message display to the user. Okay, and I'll just say save settings. So now let's hit the API again. Previously it was showing here error from source. Now it should show us something meaningful. So I'll say pz3 some date percentage submit. So saved in trap code. But in Airtable, you see now we are actually getting an actual error which is coming from Airtable, which is saying invalid permission or the request model was not found. Check that both your whatever, right? So this is the error which we are getting from the REST API. So this way you can actually display the actual error message. Let's say there are multiple error messages, right? There are different type of error messages, then how you can handle it. So this was one. So I go back to my error handling. This is fine. Now let's fix the name correct and just change the bearer token. Okay, so this time we will get some different errors. So I'll say instead of after D, I just add 1 1. That's all. And I'll say save. Now let's go and try to create another product. PZ4 some date percentage 32. Okay, submit. Save. This will also not go. Okay, now we are seeing error and we don't know what exactly the error is. And if I go to Airtable, that PZ4 should not have created. Okay. So now let's go and check the error logs again. I go to this error logs, refresh and see what is the error this time. Scroll down. So it is saying error type is authentication required. It is saying whatever the access token you are passing is actually incorrect. And now let's say I want to show the exact same message to the user. So what I'll do, I'll copy this. I go to my external API, edit this. In the error handling, now I can add more thing. I can say if error dot type is equal to whatever the error we are getting from your table, then show error dot message, because I think the message path is still same. Message path error dot type and error dot message. So you can even copy from here, you can copy from here, wherever, right? So we are saying if error dot type is equal to authentication required, then display this message authentication required. So now I have changed it, error dot type equal to authentication required, display error. If the model is incorrect, display that message. If authentication required is not there, display this message, and then I'll save it. Okay. Now let's hit this API again. See, PZ5, some date, some percentage, submit. So product got saved in trap code, but from Airtable, we are getting this error authentication required. So basically we are able to capture the exact error message for different scenarios, so that when your end user is using the application, if they are doing some mistake, or when you are building your application and you want to track different type of errors, you can actually see the logs and actually print the actual message. So this is how easy it is to do the error handling in Trapcode in case of external APIs. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you again in the next video. Bye bye.